Mexican drug cartels, 97% of fentanyl, one of the most addictive and deadly drugs, is smuggled into the U.S. from China. People's Liberation Army hackers are executing unconstrained penetration, surveillance, theft, and offensive cyber attacks on U.S. businesses, critical infrastructure, intelligence apparatus, and yes, even the U.S. election system. To ignore this message is to surrender to a government takeover that will gravely affect the lives of every man, woman, and child of every class, culture, and nation. Our goal is to reach and revive the heart of humanity while there's still time. This is your wake up.
Well, what do you think? I want to tell you, in that movie, it said they were going to take over by 2035. They came about, 14 years early. Everybody out there, before we talk here, you need to share that far and wide. We're going to run that a couple of times a day here for the world. This is Colonel Walden. He retired, but he's runs it.
Just so you know, there's going to be a little bit of off video between as we go back and forth to the broadcast, but please understand there's delays because the servers are getting hammered. We'll get back to it.
Tell us something, Colonel, about, you guys can all chime in too about the movie. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the world.
Yeah, that movie was really the culmination of over a year's worth of work from, about 12 to 15 folks full-time, and then an aggregate injection as, whatever you want to call them, digital warriors or extended networks of folks who do a lot of boring drudgery for research. And it's, researching publicly available information to from everything from court cases to financial records to foreign financial transaction databases that are on the dark web. It's really connecting dots, following the money trail, and looking at all that list of Soros contributions. That was all from Federal Election Commission reports, digging through all that information, all that data, all that cyber, if you will. Everything is connected. Is in the realm of cybersecurity. Cyber is not necessarily a thing. It can be a thing. It's a means. It's a conduit. It's the way that people communicate. Every one of you out there right now, I've got multiple devices that are connected. Your phones and your computers are air gapped, but they're connected. And sorry, I didn't mean to make you laugh. But the efforts. I happen to be the guy sitting there talking, but the efforts are from, some folks in this room, some folks who are sitting in the audience, folks around the country, and folks around the world that aggregate this information to give the American people a picture of what's really happening. Understand the Chinese doctrine of unrestricted warfare. Understand the color revolution that's happening in our country, and that's really what brought us to begin this research. So it's it's a threat. It's a threat to our republic, and I disagree with a lot of folks, especially the Time magazine article that says democracy is not self-executing. We live in a republic. We're a nation governed by laws and agreement on those laws. And I feel that our republic is in jeopardy. We've lost the blind justice system. There's a bifurcated system of justice. We have a legislative branch of our federal government that is out of control and non-functional unless it's spending our money and wasting our money. And we have an executive branch who I firmly believe is placed illegitimately. And we've got to wake people up and realize that if we don't keep our country, and just like Ben Franklin said, then we don't deserve it.
From the front lines of the battle for election integrity, AmericanFaith.com Cyber Symposium Central, hosted by Jovan Pulitzer.
said it was the safest election ever. Well, let me tell you, about 3 or 4 months ago, we put it in, I think it was one of our Absolute movies. He was on with Adam Schiff. I believe it was on MSNBC, or MSNBC. One of the Facebook fact checkers can check that. But they, when they interviewed him, remember this was like in March or something, said, what's the greatest threat to our country right now? And Chris says, bar none, a cyber attack from China right down to the local races. I thought he copied again what I had. I'm going, why didn't you bring this up in November, Chris? This is the great cover-up. And anybody that watched this movie, I'm talking to the journalists out there, the CNNs, the journalists, the people, not the Daily Beast and the Salon and the Business Insider. Did you guys watch that? You guys are living the American dream. We skipped right over socialism to communism. It's here. And you guys are sitting there and you're part of this because what? Because it's a job and you can't. There are some journalists over there that want to report stuff, but they can't. I'm telling you, there was New York Times and Washington Post did a big 3-hour interview with me to do an article. Both of them, they wouldn't let him run it because it was too good. And when it was too truthful. And that's sad.
I think might change that.
And that's what my appeal is. And we're going to hit because the media and the cover up. And I'm talking about Facebook. You know, you work for Facebook. Lead Stories this year. You're the fact checkers. Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on all the journalists that are out there that are just sitting there going, you know what? It's my job. No, you're destroying it because this is the big cover-up. This is the cover-up. You've just seen everything in that thing is, what do you say, Phil, a year of research, 12, 15, all these guys, full-time. This is what these guys do. They did such a deep dive and just went in and found all this out. And it goes deeper. You start talking, when I spent my money on investigations, millions upon millions of dollars now, in the last 7 months, it's like a blur. But all the money spent investigating, I would get so far, and then I'd be attacked. They hire bots and trolls, and they attack retailers, and they attack this. These are enemy of the people. And the media, if they don't change, they're the enemy of the people. They are the enemy. They're the ones that stop this and they change the narrative. There's the truth just got put on there. That's why you got to get that video out far and wide. This is disgusting what they're doing. These are guys that.
So yes, you're hearing feedback in the background, just so you understand. It's not from our studio. It's from the production floor. They're obviously talking somewhere on an open mic, but I venture to say they'll have that fixed pretty quick.
Should be by 2035. But you know how you get it faster? You know how you take it faster? You take an election. Because then you got everything. You can decide everything you want to do. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. Take a shot, make you take a shot. They can make you do anything. They're going to make you do anything. And it starts, the first thing they do, you take away our freedom of speech. That's what they almost want. They almost had it gone. You go back to January 9th, when I got that and started raising my hand. Everybody else was living in fear. Oh, we can't do this. Dominion will sue. We can't do this. I got to stay low. They're saying everybody's bad. Everybody's bad. You did this. You talk about the election, and you're taking away your livelihood on Vimeo and YouTube. It was all part of the attack, but it was all part of the cover-up. And it starts with them guys right back there, the media.
Yes, sir.
The media. And you know what? I'm going to say it right now before we get into discussing. Shame on you, Fox. They're disgusting that they haven't talked about this election. At least we know where CNN and all these terrible outlets come from, but at least they attack. And then we can at least get the word out that, you get the word out that at least, hey, Dominion, China took the country, is coming after us. And then they put all their bad stuff in there, which is, we've grown to say anything they say you don't believe. Facebook fact checkers, they can put it up now, then you know it's true. You know Lead Stories put some over there. It's as true as it's it. It's disgusting. The media, when we're going to every day out there, I'm going to tell you, we got 3 days we're going to be here. Every single story, I got 5 people, 5 companies just watching for some disinformation to come out there. So they're going to drop it, and we're going to stop the program and go right to calling them out. Because you guys are here, and you're seeing it live. They can't do that. They soundbit me the other day. CNN did a hit job on me, 8.5 minutes. That was a 2.5-hour interview, everybody. 2.5 hours I sat there. This was a week ago because they hadn't called me in months. And they never brought up absolute proof. They wanted to do a hit piece on me before we even got here to start brainwashing you, all of you out there. And I'm talking to people that are, for me, my audience is everybody, especially a Democrat. We're all people, not the party, a Democrat, maybe even the party, or you're working for someone. Why? Why would you let our country, why would you let this happen to our country? Why? A lot of you people that came here today are coming here for hit jobs and to come to attack. And you know what? When you attack today, just know when you attack the next 3 days, you're going to feel pretty bad because you are as guilty as anyone, the people that did this. Every single one of you media outlets, every single one of you journalists.